I've always been quite obsessed with personality profiles. You know, like when you get these little quizzes pop up.
Yes.
It needed a pluralism. Anyway, but I don't think you can have a successful business unless you ramp any kind of D profile up in you, because that's where you've got to get those tasks done.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've got months where shit is hitting the fan and you're low on sales, for example, you want a D profile in your business. It's you having that awareness. It's you having the ability to adapt your own person around them. And it's hard work.
But do you know what the most obvious, like, it's not obvious, but when you say it kind of is ask them how they work best.
Yeah. Biggest fear of a D profile is
failure.
Yeah. Failure is so high that it can destroy a D person.
But can you see how it's the juxtaposition, the yin and yang of that's a really good trait to have because you want to succeed and you put everything into it, but then also it can really hold you back.
You're going to do like your little intro thing again. What are we talking about today, Davis?
You stole my line.
Because I knew that's what you were going to do.
Okay. So we're going to talk about, we talk about this a lot in episodes, and I feel like we may have gone over a lot of people's heads with it because we've only really done one episode on personality profiles.
True that.
But we do refer to this a lot.
Those of you who were at CBA conference, though, you will have experienced this in full immersion. It was an immersive experience.
It was using dog analogies.
It was. Confused my brain.
Dog breed analogies, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it worked well.
Worked a treat, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So what is it all about?
Alfie.
Why does it matter? Oh, God. What's it all about? Why do we care? Why does it matter?
Why do we care? I've always been quite obsessed with personality profiles. You know, like when you get these little quizzes pop up.
Yes.
It needed a pluralism. Anyway. When these things...
Guys, it's the last episode of the day.
It's fine.
It's flaggage.
Well, flaggage, you're getting worse. Right. Regroup. When you see those quizzes pop up on the book face and what have you, I'm always like, ooh.
What quizzes?
There's always quizzes popping up.
What do you mean? Don't know what you mean.
Like on your news feed.
Yeah.
And it's loads of people do like the shitty ones. But in my opinion, the shitty ones. It's like, find out what Disney princess you are. So I don't care. I don't care what Disney princess I am. Yes. But there's loads of stuff like that out there that it's like, ooh, how... I see lots for ADHD stuff actually on like figure out how much you've got that type of brain or that, like there's loads of stuff it.
I've done like a IQ test one. Is that the kind of thing?
Yeah. Anything, a good quiz basically that allows you to find out more out about yourself. I quite like that kind of stuff. So we went quite big into disc profiling, I'd say, in the last 2 years we've really liked it, but then in the last 12 months kind of got into it a lot more. Recently done the tests.
Yeah, and we've also got Andy, who the episode that we did back in, oh God, it's probably the first year, isn't it?
Yeah, we'll have to link back to that episode actually.
Yeah.
In the show notes.
He's actually now a mentor in the pod classes, our membership as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
So that's how much we love it. But there are different models, aren't there? So the disc
is but one of the personality profile.
Are there lots of them? Is there multiples, isn't there? Of them?
There's a few, yeah. So I think you've got one called Insights, which is similar to disc, but it concentrates on colours instead of disc.
So it's the same kind of segmenting of the...
Yeah. Segmenting of your personality. And essentially it's how do you show up in a natural state. So if you're in your normal mode versus how you show up in work mode versus when you're stressed, do any traits heighten or lower? I'll say lowen then. Heighten or lowen. Which does it, all that.
What shows in what particular scenario? And there will be, no one's one, are they? Nobody's just one.
If you are one, you're in a very
very niche.
minute percentage.
Okay, so most people are like 2, aren't
Yeah.
they? 2 or
Predominant.
maybe 3.
Predominantly 2. Sometimes you'll have 3.
Okay, and those will show up differently because, like, you and I are very different in our stress mode, let's say. So when
Well, I've got my official results back. You haven't had your results back
no,
yet.
I haven't. No.
Your official ones.
No.
We feel like we know what they are.
Yes.
Mine was pretty what I expected. So the disc element then is D is your dominant profile. It is your also known as like a driver. I forget the other way of describing it, but yeah, driving, you're leading one. It's very task focused. It's very results driven.
Do it now focused.
Very much, yep. Do it now.
That's very much you, Jo.
That's the results driven bit. So it's like if you're going to do something, you want to see a result like that. There's very little patience around it all. It's just like just get it fucking done. So these people are really good in crisis because you're not going to dilly-dally. It'll just be, right, rally up.
I know what to do. This is what the plan is.
Yep. It's like we're just going to be really decisive and we're just going to crack on and we're just going to do it. The biggest fear of...
I say that, right, here's my conflict around this. I feel if there was a crisis, you just laugh at me first before you actually did anything for me.
What's the crisis?
I fell over.
Oh, yeah, I'd laugh at that. That's not a crisis to me.
She's just going to laugh at me and then go, oh shit, I'm a D profile. I need to do something about it.
Yeah, still happening.
Okay.
Well, if I was you, I'd be like, oh my God, are you okay? Do you need anything? Like, nothing's fucking getting... Ring the fucking ambulance.
You don't know that because it's never happened. Right, I'm going to trip you over when we leave. See what...
Oh, dear. So, yes, anyway. Biggest fear of a D profile is... Failure. Yeah. Failure is so high that it can destroy a D person.
But can you see how it's the juxtaposition, the yin and yang of that's a really good trait to have because you want to succeed and you put everything into it, but then also it can really hold you back.
Yeah.
Because you do so much the other way that it ends up like falling flat in your face.
Yeah, it's that pendulum swing.
Yeah.
I am just going to make a little side note again to that. If you do not watch this on YouTube, please head over for Vicky's very expressive facial expressions.
What did I express in my face then?
Oh, I need to find them. You do this whole like, yin and yang.
I don't feel like I do this, but
you do.
Apparently.
Ryan
can't see my face.
Just give me a nod. Ryan
can't actually see my face because
he can see it on screen.
Yeah, whatever. I'm going to be really expressionless.
No, because I want people to go to YouTube.
All right, so you're using me as like a little tool.
Yes.
A little puppet.
Damn straight.
Anyway, it is the yin and yang of the thing, isn't it?
Yep. Full on, you will destroy a D at the thought of failure. Then your I profile is your influence. I forget if there's another I name for it, but it's that very, very, very good in social situations. Love the networking side of it. Love being around people. Love
inclusion, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's that kind of inclusion. Bit, isn't it?
We'll get onto the S in a sec because they're very similar. So if you imagine a quadrant, good old bloody quadrants, they're back. You've got. I look at it in that you've got D and C alongside each other, and they are your task focused. So they are more likely to be your introverts if you're going to look at it that way, but it's not as clear cut as that. But they're more likely to be less people, more task. Then on the other side, your S and your I, they're the people profiles. So if you have got too high task profiles within your personality, you really aren't going to do well around people. Mm-hmm. If you've got a people element in it, then it's a good mix, essentially. So your I is very, very people focused. It's very social butterfly. It's very like, yay, I can be the life and soul of the party. biggest fear of an I is rejection. So that somebody doesn't like you. Like, oh God, big knife to the heart. S, forget the bloody names of all these now. It's like your safety and security one. It has got a name, but I can't think of it. That safety and security feeling, like you need stability. You want to know, and again, because this is a people one, you care far much more about somebody else than you do yourself. So you will always project how you feel somebody else is feeling over how you're feeling. You will sacrifice yourself to make sure that somebody else is having a good time. You will always think about that other person. What are they thinking? Almost to the point where it's a bit too much and you don't know. We're putting a load of assumptions on other people. Fear of an S is not having that security bit. It's like you need that stability.
Fear of the unknown, maybe, or doing something out your comfort zone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then your C profile, I always refer to this profile as like the accountant profile. So it's very detailed, very factual, very if you're going to challenge me on a thought, you better have your facts right, because I can promise you I've got all the facts. Like I will research, I will do all the digging, all of that kind of stuff. Not very people focused at all. Very much in the weeds of the detail. So again, very, very task focused. So you do typically find accountants sit in that, or like engineers. Yeah. So like it sounds awful, but like the air quote geeky kind of stuff where it's very intense, IT hard work. Yeah. As well. Very like, I don't want to speak to people. I just want to sit there, just want to get on with my task. Anything like that. So that's a piss poor way of describing DISC.
It's a summary of it.
It's a Jo summary of DISC. Mm-hmm. And I know the D and I want a lot better because that's me. That's my profile. And I know more about the S because that's your profile. So the way that D and I shows up for me is that I am very much a people person. I love being out there. But then I also quite like stepping away from that and going, right, okay, shit needs doing. Let me crack on with that. And I'm happy to not do it. But then that juxtaposition is the right word. That feeling then that if I've been working by myself for a period of time, I'm like, oh my God, I need to speak to somebody. Which is why I'm always like, who can I ring? I need that because I'm by myself a lot. So I need that people element. And that's why I think a lot of us, if you can relate to this, if you are a DI profile, you've got ID in you, you can sit at home by yourself all day and feel very, oh my God, I'm on my own. There's nobody here. I need to be around people. But you don't need it constantly, but you need lots of touch points of it. Is this making any sense?
Yeah. Does make sense. And then you've also got the C in you because that's what comes out in the stress.
Yes, although weirdly in my results, it's lower than I thought.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. It's there. It heightens, but it's not. So what was interesting for me on my results is the order of my list, if you will. D first, then I. They're not too dissimilar, but I is underneath D. So I lead with D. Then it was, oh God, I can't remember. I might get it up in a minute. And then, that's C and, no, it was S. S was next and then C was the lowest. And then in stress mode, everything's pretty much exactly the same. It's just lifted a bit. So that S and C come above the line. Going like, oh, they're more, you'll see them more. So they're always there, but you don't typically see them. And then when that stress kicks in, it's like, oh, I can see they've creeped up. But the D and I still lead.
Yeah. And your D is the dominant one though, isn't it?
Yep.
Although it's a DI, that's the one you see the most, isn't it? And that's the way you operate, I would say, in business and in life, because you're the sorter outer,
yes,
the doer, the we've talked about this a lot in other episodes, but the planner, I want to know what's going to happen. I want to know everyone's going to be okay. So is that almost like you can see them being interwoven in that, because you want the plan, you want something to get done, but you also want to make sure everybody else is okay as well.
Yep.
And that's, kind of intertwined with it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a nice combo.
I'm wanting it now.
I'm wanting it now. But the wanting it now thing is a good thing, but sometimes not such a good thing when you're not working with somebody who is that way inclined as much, i.e. me.
Yes. However, this is what's really interesting about doing these personality profiles, though, is because I think you'll hear us talk a lot on this podcast about we're always reflecting. And this, I'd say this has been like a really prominent thing, like when you're working with someone as closely as we do, but then also having that awareness of how you're showing up, even outside of a business setting, like how you're showing up at home. If you put it back into a business setting, how are you showing up with clients? And that skill to be able to dial your own profile back in some respects to make space for somebody else's.
Or dial it up if you feel someone needs that to move things forward. So if the results aren't happening, obviously you've got to figure out why that is, but it could be that they just need a bit of more of a kick up the ass than you thought they did. And that's where you can go, right, come on then, let's get shit done. Or you realise that they need a bit more understanding and a bit more repetition maybe. And this is where it's so good to have that awareness, isn't it? Yeah. And it's the way people consume information that we're not always considerate of. We might like to put it in a report format, but what about your client? Is that the best way they're going to consume it?
Yeah, it's it is fascinating stuff, because when you know that, so like for me, if I use that D profile, because I care so much about the results, I may come across to some people like it's too much and like it's a bit pushy. That's not the intention. That's never the intention of a D profile. The intention is to get a result and to get it as fast as possible. So if you are doing that to someone who is a high S and maybe hasn't got or has got very little D in their profile, that could come across as a bit of a clash, because they're going, I'm quite happy. The example I did in a recent episode, actually, of me trying to put that plan together for my mum and my dad and my sister, completely essentially hitting the brakes and going like, whoa, no, not doing this. Most frustrating thing for me, because I'm like, oh my God, just do the thing. I remember sitting there, I think I was texting you going like, we've come here to have this chat. So I'm thinking, yes, we're going to get shit done. And then they stick fucking Peaky Blinders on the TV and start watching that for 45 minutes. I'm like, why is nobody doing anything? What is going on? And I'm twitching and I can feel my whole body convulsing.
I can picture it now.
Why are we not doing anything? If I'd come here for a coffee, fine. But we've not. Why aren't we doing anything? But different profiles. And they need to go slow and steady. And I have had to learn to go, I'm not going to get anything done here if I keep pushing. I've got to adapt.
You're going to get the opposite, aren't you?
Yeah. I have to adapt if we're going to make this beneficial for everyone. And having this awareness in how you coach as well, because when you're that dog trainer, you're coaching another human being. If you're a D like me and you're dealing with an S, they might not want to go at the pace that you want them to go. They're going to really struggle to do it.
And that, not even talking about they haven't learnt the skills yet and they haven't like had the practice that you've had and all that stuff. That's like a totally separate thing, because we all know we need to keep practicing things to get better. But it's the absorbing the information, taking it in, processing it, and having, if they're worrying about what people think, oh, I might look like a twat if I do it wrong. It's all of that sort of stuff as well, isn't it? So worrying about what people think, the fear of judgment, the failure, like there's all the different things that they're probably catastrophizing. So we might want, oh, come on, by now we should have nailed that loose lead walking, or you should have stopped that dog jumping up. And it's like, well, you haven't stopped to consider how that person's learning, how that person's processing it, and what they need, what tools they need, whether they need you to repeat it again and again.
Yeah. And this is the interesting bit of having more of a task focus in your profile. You don't intentionally, or rather, what am I trying to say here? You're not mindful of the people because you're task focused. It's like, this needs doing. And it's all, and again, I am guilty of this. And my intention is never a bad thing. The intention is the shit to be done. Let's just do it. And for me, I will sacrifice my sleep to do it. I will sacrifice time with my family. I will, do you know, because I'm so task focused, I will go, it just needs doing. So just get it done and get it done as fast as possible. So it's done. And that's really hard for people who aren't task focused. And if you've got a double people profile, which I think yours is going to come back as, because you will be IS, yours is all people. There's no task in it. Or there's not no task because you have a bit of everything, but it's lower. So that task bit doesn't get prioritized. And it's not an intentional thing. It's just a natural way that your personality is. And this is where people clash.
Mm-hmm. And it can, I suppose it's how couples make or break very often, isn't it? You know, if you don't, you look at all the, what's that program where they put people together?
Married at First Sight.
Yeah, that. It rarely works out, even though they've done all the science behind it and they think it should. And on paper, those people should be perfect for each other. It rarely happens, does it? And it's just because of the dynamics of everything and the way it shifts and changes, and each scenario is different. And maybe on paper in that certain experience or that certain scenario, it works perfectly, but change the goalposts a little bit, notch things up a bit, like that's where it might not work. It's so fluid, isn't it? It's never just going to be rigid. It's not like you're always a D and you're always going to do that. It's like, yeah, that's your dominant thing. And it generally is going to be you, but that's going to shift depending on what is needed at what particular time.
And it can change as well. So interestingly, one of our mentors who knows us really well, he even said to me the other week, he's like, I can see that compared to how he knew me years ago, he's like, your D is dialed down, but I know it's there, but I can see that you've dialed it down. I was like, interesting. And he's like, yes, because your business partner isn't a D. I was like, yeah. And he's like, so you've had to dial it down, otherwise it wouldn't work. And he said, but on the flip side as well, Vicky's dialed her D up. So you're both trying to meet each other in the middle, which is a good thing for a partnership. Because otherwise, if you both tried to still operate in your own,
there's a big chasm.
Yeah.
A big gap there, isn't there?
Yeah, huge gap. But you've both got to want it if you're working in partners. And again, this is the same that if you're working with clients. The only difference here is that your clients will have no fucking clue about any of this.
Nope.
And you're not going to go in and teach them about personality profiling. It's you having that awareness, and it's you having the ability to adapt your own person around them. And it's hard work.
But do you know what the most obvious, like, it's not obvious, but when you say it kind of is ask them how they work best.
Yeah.
Ask them how they receive the information best. Ask them as many questions as you possibly can to gain that information, to understand how it is best to work with that person.
Yeah.
We're scared to do this kind of thing, by the way.
Yeah. And there are some kind of like telltale signs on once you understand certainly the DISC profile more, there are some telltale signs on being able to identify roughly kind of what you think somebody might be. So a D profile, let's say in a sales conversation, is more likely to say, okay, so what am I going to get from working with you? Brilliant. How does it work? How much is it? I'm in. Like, they're very quick decision makers.
Not a lot of detail involved.
Yeah.
You're the sort of person where if you're on a landing a sales page and the first line is buy now, you'd probably click it.
Yeah.
It's buy this thing and Joe's in.
Yeah, pretty much. If I've seen something and I'm like, yep, I'm in, very quick, easy decision. I don't need to go and search elsewhere. I don't need to do reviews. I don't need to do any of that. I'm like, oh, you've said something. I've got a good vibe. Here's the thing. Here's the information. Boom, I'm in or I'm out. It's that easy. So you'll know a D profile from how they buy, how they kind of, I think how they buy is a really good one to look at, and the type of questions they ask in that sales chat. If you've got someone who is asking quite a lot of detail, okay, so tell me exactly how it works then. What's the detail behind it?
How long is each session?
Yep.
What does each session involve?
Yep.
It's all that.
What am I going to get at the end of it? How do I know I'm going to have got there? Like how does it work in between sessions then? What do I get? All that is very much a C profile. It's like, I need all the detail.
And this is where, again, if we go back to that sales page example, that's the person that needs to read all of that detail about it. So this is where it's really important to be aware that you'll be speaking to D profiles, and you've got to give them the opportunity to buy it quickly, if that is an option where somebody might buy it off a website, for example.
Yeah. Or action quickly, like book now.
Action, yeah.
Make
do
a phone
something,
call.
book a phone call, speak to somebody and then buy it, whatever. And then the other people are going to need the detail around it, which is why when we encourage people to present the information to a client, you want it in a simplified version, but with the option to expand and answer questions for those C profiles if they need more information. But if you overload the information for a D, you might go, oh, fucking hell, there's too much there. Like,
I'm out, I can't buy.
Yeah, I don't actually want it because there's too much stuff that I've got to try and read through or take in. And it's so interesting when you look at it that way. So you go, well, how do you do it then? How do you make it work? Keep it simple with the option to ask those questions.
Yeah. And this is why we dig in a lot in personality profiles, not only in the pod classes and the membership, but in that 12-month program as well, because you're constantly having to be mindful of how are you talking to people? How are you talking to your clients? But this sales bit and that sales page, you've got to do so much to grab everybody's attention, and you've got to be really mindful of who you're talking to. Because again, like if you are a C profile yourself and you are talking to me, for example, as a D profile, you are likely to put all of your thoughts and feelings about all the detail onto me, thinking that that's what I want to hear.
Because maybe you've had clients in the past that have needed the detail, so you think everyone needs it.
Yeah. And because you like the detail, you'd be telling yourself, well, I wouldn't be able to buy without this detail. So I'm going to start telling you how it works. And to me, I'm like, I've switched off, I'm out. Like, I will give you every excuse then to get off that call.
But this is another mistake, isn't it, that we see a lot, is that people put on services they like. Now, okay, I'm saying this and I'm already like cancelling it out. When I say this, I don't mean you should always put services on that you enjoy. Like, that is number one, isn't it? To go like, why should you shouldn't run a business doing something you don't like and you don't enjoy. But let's look at the way it's possibly structured. Let's look at the way it's designed. It's usually, oh, well, I like to do it that way, but is that the best thing for the person who's buying it from you? So it could be that kind of thought process around the actual service itself. And then it could be the way that someone can buy it. But I don't like all the detail, so I'm not going to put it on for somebody. Or I like all the detail, so I'm going to put it on. And it's like being able to take a step back, being able to have that awareness. In the episode we did before, it was talking about that ability to detach almost, to go, yeah, okay, you're that kind of person, but not everybody else is going to be that type of person. And it's our duty as that business owner, as that person who is reaching all these different types of people, to have that knowledge that everybody's going to be different. And if you've got a really good core understanding of these personality profiles, I think that stands you in a really good stead to be able to do that really, really well. But if you are sort of closed-minded, bit blinkered to it and just like, no, it's all me, that I feel is like a very self-centered way to run a business.
Yeah.
And I know it's unintentional a lot of the time, but it is, isn't it? It's, again, we're coming back down to like, I've got all these qualifications, I've got all this stuff that I can help you with. But how do you know that someone cares about all that stuff? And how do you know that that is what they need to hear? It's, some people might, and the information is there if you want to provide it to them. If they ask you the question, have you got any qualifications? How did you get to be where you are? I'll freely tell somebody that. But do I need to plaster it absolutely everywhere? Probably not. So it's knowing what what information you need to give up front and what information you possibly hold back until you have that conversation, and you can gauge it and figure out, oh yeah, I feel like they need a bit more. I'm going to offer this information up because they've asked for it. And it's that, isn't it? It's just having that kind of, it's just a big awareness thing, isn't it?
Yeah. I think all of this with business is awareness of yourself.
Yeah,
And
it's you, isn't it? It's the ability to get out of your own way in so many cases, don't you think?
Funnily enough, Darren and I would say Darren's profile is an SD. So he's got almost like that opposite bit. So he's got similar to me in that he's got people and task in him. But his people is different to my people. So this is my interpretation of it anyway, and I'm probably going to totally butcher it. We need to get Andy back on to help this, or go and listen to it in the podclasses because we dig into this in detail. The I profile compared to the S profile, if you're comparing them like for like, the I one tends to be a bit more superficial. So it's not as... The I profile can be great in a room, great for networking, be like, hi, yeah, give me the detail, exchange business cards or social profiles or whatever it is. And it's all that surface level stuff. You don't go really into the nitty gritty of like a real deep and meaningful relationship. Whereas your S wants to find out like, so how did you get into that? And then tell me all the detail behind, like I really care about you as the individual. Whereas that I is a bit more social butterfly-y. I feel like I'm making the I sound really bad here, but hopefully that helps just distinguish those two. So yeah, Darren falls into that S bit of like, he cares a lot about somebody else and will always handicap himself if it means somebody else is happy, but he's got that D profile in him as well. So he wants stuff doing. And him and my brother-in-law, they dabble in some work together. And then Darren gets really frustrated that my brother-in-law isn't matching up to his determination to want to do things. And my sister had a conversation with me the other day and she's like, oh yeah, well, we've just kind of had this conversation that me and my brother-in-law, they're quite lazy and they just want a really simple life. And you and Darren, you just want to do all this stuff and like, go. I said to Darren, I was like, see how frustrated you get though at them because they're not living up to their potential. And I did the same. I've just learned to deal with it now because I've been aware of this stuff for a lot longer and he's playing catch up. I was like, but also look at the difference. Like you imagine if roles reversed and I was married to Chris and you were married to Kelly. Don't think that would last very long. I think it maybe might run out a year if you're lucky because of how frustrated you'd get at the other one not doing that. And I said to Darren, I was like, I didn't realise actually how similar you and I are in we've both got that D in us and that's what makes us work really well because we're like, right, yeah, fucking we're going for it. And there's never been that problem of if one of us is in full D mode that it affects the other negatively because we're like, I get it. But yeah, just having all that awareness makes huge difference.
It does. And I'd never really looked at it and labelled it before. And just because we're calling it things, it doesn't mean you have to act any differently around it. But like, I hadn't really looked at me in that way before. I was just like, it's just the way I am. It's just the way. And you always have that, is it nature, is it nurture? Have you learned to lean into that role almost? Yeah. Because I'm that person who will sacrifice myself on a night out, always seem to be the one where I'm got caught in the middle of someone else's drama and I can't just walk away from it. Like I want to. Every part of me just wants to go and have a good time and just forget everyone. I'm like, I can't, because then what will the person think of me? And they'll just think I don't care and all this stuff. And I want them to have a great time as well. And oh my God, the amount of times it's like, it's held me back and it pisses me off. But then at the same time, I like that kind of trait about me as well. So it's always like this push and pull against it, isn't it?
Yep.
Because yeah, I feel like if everyone...
How would you say that trait's shown up for you in business?
with clients
Well, just
or
in general, whether it's a dog training or CBA.
I used to be guilty of putting myself in the place of the owner a lot. So I'm not necessarily that example, using that example, but I used to get frustrated. Why? Well, I'm trying to explain it. I think I'm clear. I think I'm putting my all into it. Why aren't they doing the same thing? Not realizing they're not me and they're not learning in the same way as me. I wish I'd known them what I know now, because I wouldn't have felt disappointed. But immediately I don't go, it's their fault. I go, it's my fault. Like, what am I not doing? Why am I shit? And I'd put myself down. I wouldn't think, oh, how can I make it better? Well, I would, but I wouldn't know how to do it.
Yeah.
So I'd feel like, oh God, I feel like I'm doing everything here. Nothing seems to be working. They're not getting any better. What is it? And feeling almost trapped about it. But if I knew that information then, I could have given myself a bit of a break, possibly, and take a step back and look at them more and go, what else do they need? It's not me. It's them, but it's not them either, because that's just the way they are. That's the way I am. I need to meet them where they are. But I didn't have that awareness of that at the time. But in CBA, I don't know really, I suppose, well, we all want our clients to succeed, don't we?
Yeah. I think with an S profile, you are looking at the traits that tend to shine through on an S profile for business is more risk adverse, because you want the safety and security. So you're less likely to jump into the unknown.
Mm-hmm.
More likely to put services on that other people want, because you're doing right by other people, air quote right by other people. And it also gives you some security theoretically, because you're putting on services that are selling. Even if it's not selling loads, it's like people want it, people like it. Lots of validation from if people tell you that you've done a good job.
Yeah, I used to really like that. If people used to come and hug me at the end of the class and stuff, I'd be like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
I used to get a lot of presents. I used to get a lot of people get me cards and presents and stuff like that. And I was like, I really liked all of that.
Yeah, it's all those that people touch point, and then you might not necessarily work. I was going to say very hard on the business, but that sounds shit, and I don't mean it like that. But do you know what I mean? Like, your focus wouldn't be on the running of the business; it'd just be.
What I would say is the reason you know this anyway, but the reason I wanted to change my business was predominantly to get people better results.
Yes.
It was, the money was a nice thing to have. And if you asked me, do you want more money? Yes, of course I do. But that's not the driving force for me. The driving force is helping the people. And I always felt like, again, going back to that example I gave earlier, if it's me, I'm putting myself down, like I'm shit, why aren't I getting better results for people? And then as soon as there was an opportunity to do that and make more money at the same time, I'm in. And so therefore, when I came to make that decision to ditch all my services and go all in on that thing, you'd almost go, well, that's like a D profile, because you would just fuck it all off. I'm going to do that instead. But I'm not. But almost in that scenario, because the driver was the S, it ramped the D up, and I went, yep, I'll do it. It's so weird, isn't it? It's like layered again.
Yeah. It's different contexts and different things come out. And I always find this interesting. And again, like, you'll see the differences in the personalities, because I knew from day one, and even how you've always talked about it in CBO, that your motivation to do high ticket and change the business model was very much to deliver a better service. Was not my motivation at all. My motivation was to prove that I could do something and have that success. And it feels scary admitting that out loud, because for me, saying things like that fills my head with negative thoughts of, oh, well, people are going to think that
egotistic and selfish and money orientated and money grabbing, all that stuff. Yeah.
But if you look at that D profile, very task and results driven, and it's not a people profile. So that task and results driven is, I wanted to build something that could work. And because I have got that people element in me as well, in that I did want people to have a good experience, and I do. It's just, if yours is leading with, I want people to get an experience and I want this, mine's like the other way.
The other way around, yeah.
So it's still both present. It's still kind of equally matched, just slightly nudged more towards, well, how can I get this business working? How can I make it so that it does work and it does make money? And that's the task, and that's where I can throw all my energy and effort in. And off the back of that, I've got happy clients.
But that's where that, again, the word might seem like we're banding it around a lot, but integrity, because for me, I'm like, that I did it for that reason, but I got that as well. Awesome. I got more time, I got more freedom, all the stuff. You did it the other way around. We're going, I want more money, I want more freedom, time, and I'm going to get people a really good result, and I care about what those people, the experience they have and what happens after. And for me, I'm like, it's a win-win. Doesn't matter which way around the driver is. Like, if that's what happens and you get all of that stuff, awesome.
Yeah. And actually, I genuinely believe you are not going to have a successful business. And by success, my definition of success is a business that generates enough income and happy clients to sustain your lifestyle. That's my version of success. I don't categorize it in a monetary value. Yeah. Because if you're turning over 18 grand a year and you've built that yourself, fucking, like, to me, successful. If you've left your job and you've created something and you're figuring it out, like, that's success in itself. Yep. That's my version of it anyway. But I don't think you can have a successful business unless you ramp any kind of D profile up in you, because that's where you've got to get those tasks done. Mm-hmm. And if you've got months where shit is hitting the fan and you're low on sales, for example, you want a D profile in your business, because they will just get it done.
But this is the importance of having the plan. If this happens, I need to do that. If this, and it's not reactive, it's knowing in these dips, maybe there's periods where it's not as, clients aren't coming in as much. What do we need to do? We know what to do. We do that and we focus on that more. That's it. So it's not that throwing shit at the wall and hope it sticks kind of attitude. It's this is the plan. This is the roadmap. We know that there's going to be periods where this has to happen. And you have to maybe put a bit more in for a bit, but then it swings back the other way. Yeah. That's the way it is in business. Mm-hmm. It's never going to be just this completely linear process.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
It would be nice, but unfortunately, it's never like that, is it? Yeah.
No. But this comes in as well, like, if you're going to grow your team, if you're going to bring staff on, even if you're going to, like, subcontract some work out, preferably you want somebody, and we're all guilty of doing this. Again, we've both done this ourselves. We've hired people based on a personality match, i.e., I get on with you. You seem to like the same stuff as me. We can have, like, a good friendship. And then if you keep hiring people like that, then the business can't move further forward, because you imagine having, like, you imagine CBA just being filled with people like me.
Poor me.
It just wouldn't work though, would it?
No, it wouldn't work.
Because there's not enough of the other profiles in there to help it move forward, and vice versa. If every team member was loads of S's and maybe we had no C profiles in the business, then we're like, okay, fuck, who's keeping an eye on the detail of everything here? How do we know what's tracking? How do we know what's converting? What's the figures like?
We're lucky to have a C profile person working in our CBA team at the moment, which is great.
Yeah, all this stuff, like, it's very important to balance out your profiles.
Yeah. But it is also important to know that just because you may take a test, you may do DISC, for example, and your results come out, I could go, well, my label is I'm an IS. That means that's all that I can lean in on. That's all I can do. And I know full well that when it's needed, I'm a D. When it's needed, I'm a C, and highly IS for the most part.
Mhm.
But if I just went, well, I can never be a D. I'm never going to be Jo. And I used to do this at the beginning, like, well, that's Jo and she does all that stuff. And you are very much like, I know you love it and I know you excel in that kind of like get it done area. And I felt the need to try and compete with that at the beginning, like not compete with it, but be as good as that. And I'm like, God, that's hard work for me. I'm
Yeah.
like, that is to keep up with you all the time. My fucking God, it's mentally exhausting. I can't do it physically and mentally exhausting. And I'm like, I can't do that. How? But then I'm a failure. So like, I remember us having these conversations in the earlier days and I'm like, I just feel like I'm nothing compared to you. You'd be like, what? I feel like the same about you. I feel like you are more, you know, all the other stuff, like with the people and stuff. I don't feel like I'm as good in that respect. I'm like, yes, you are. And it turns out I lean in on that bit, you lean on the other bit. But when it's necessary, it switches and we go into it. And I'm never going to say, I'm never a D or I can't do that or I won't do that. I'm like, Jo's better at that. And I might be better at the other stuff, but we'll naturally switch and change when it's required. And again, it's just that like openness around it, isn't it? And knowing that's who we are, that's how we operate best. It's not the only way we operate, but that's where our superpower lies. And it's fine just to own that.
Yeah. I found it really helpful being aware of these profile bits because it almost takes out, you know, like if you've ever had like a gripe with someone in the past and you're like, it's always their fault and you put everything on them. And I think by learning all of this stuff, it's given me the ability to step back and go, it's not you, it's a trait that you have that's clashing with mine.
Yeah.
And it's not that I don't get on with you and I don't think any less of you. It's just that particular trait is clashing with mine. And now I have a choice on how I want to respond. Whereas historically, without knowing this information, I'm like, you fucking idiot, rah, 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 and get your back up and possibly lose friendships over it, which I've probably done over the years, many years. But now having that maturity and awareness to go, oh, wait, no, hold on. It's not that we don't get on. It's not that you're a fucktard and I'm a dick and all of this. It's just that trait's clashing with this trait. You're not aware of it. So I have to make the choice on how I want to respond.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard work, but it's worth it.
Hard work, but the more you know about it, the easier it gets.
Yeah.
Because there's a reason. It's not just the world owes me a favour or they owe me this and they're not seeing it and it's their fault. It's like, just know that that's the way it is. And you're not going to win, they're not going to win. And it's that choice to step away or just go like, it's just something that we need to navigate around.
Yeah. Like me, if I'm dealing with a C profile, my immediate reaction is like, oh my God, this is painful because you want all the detail and I don't need any. I need like 2 bullet points, you need pages. And having that awareness, you're like, okay, cool. I'm aware I need to give you more detail. What detail do you need?
Yeah, what do you need?
And
that's where it
bringing
comes to
yourself
asking
down.
the questions and going, what do you need from me to make that a success then?
Yeah. And this is all of the stuff that goes into your sales skills. It's how can you talk to each personality profile? How can you do that in your copy? How can you do that in your words, in your language, when you're speaking to someone? How can you do it in your delivery?
We have worked with people before, or one particular person who only wanted to work with a certain personality type. So therefore, how easy is that? You literally just go all in on, and it might be yours. It's likely to be your personality type. And you just go, what would I want to hear? And if that's who you want to attract, awesome. But knowing all those specifics around it and knowing the minutiae detail around what it is you like, what you don't like, what you willing to consume, what you're not, that's, great. But that's a very niche thing, isn't it?
God, yeah. The microest of niches.
But that could attract just the most awesome people towards you if that's what you want.
Yeah. Oh, I love all of this stuff. If you actually want to go find out more.
I hope we haven't confused you too much with this because we have just talked about all of it in one
It's
go.
fine. Well, that's where my little closing line is coming in now.
It's the CTA.
It is the CTA, yes. Go and check out the pod classes. Head on over to the website, canonbusinessacademy.com. It'll be working with us, pod classes. So many episodes in there we're chatting with Andy, who is the guru of disc profiling, and you can dig into this even deeper.
Love it.
Until next time.
Yeah. Happy disc profiling.